GECS is an alternative hyperpop music project consisting of Laura Les and Dylan Brady. In the years since their first album 1000 GECS release, they have received both a lot of praise and a lot of criticism. I myself am a huge fan of their work. They've inspired a lot of my own art, including my very own music. Even though I love music, I really haven't talked about it much on this channel, and I've decided to change that. So today, I'll be completing the task of ranking and reviewing every single 100 GECS album. In this video, I'll be covering their EPs, full albums, and 1000 GECS in the Tree of Clues. No singles or remixes because they're usually self-contained tracks, unlike the Tree of Clues, which is a shit ton of remixes, and also has some other cool stuff. With that out of the way, let's get into the ranking. So the first album/EP is the self-titled 100 GECS. The album consists of 5 tracks: Dog Food, Gum, Bloodstain, Fuck Teeth, and the last track, 25 Bands and a Gecko. Dog Food is a solid 5 out of 10. The vocals are really hit or miss, and the beat is boring as shit. It has its charm, but all the previous cons and the obnoxious distortion at the end weighs it down immensely. Gum is a really good track that hits. It feels so damn sparkly. Like, the track isn't even perfect, of course, but it's much better. Even the distortion at the end is much better than in Dog Food. Bloodstain is a pretty damn good track. I just really love the vocals and the instrumental hits. The distortion at the end is incredibly creepy too. It feels like I'm being watched. 8 out of 10, Dog Girl Certified, or something. Fuck Teeth is the next track, and it kinda sucks. I don't like it. I'm not interested at all in it. It's so boring and generic. The dog barking sound effects at the end are lit, but besides that, it's pretty damn not good. Not good. 3 out of 10, me no likey. And finally, the last track, 25 Bands and a Gecko. I love the drums, and again, I absolutely adore the dogs barking, but that's about it. The rest is ass. The instrumental is boring, the vocals are shit. 2 out of 10. Overall, not a good start. Given the context that this is their first EP and the start of their career, it's good. But on its own, the album is pretty ass. I can't recommend it to anyone who isn't a 100 GECS fan. When people complain about 100 GECS or say 100 GECS sucks, and that it's just hyperpop garbage, loud noises, this is what they're talking about. I'm going to have to put it in D tier. Purely because it is ass, but as a first album, it's pretty good. But now we've made it to their first studio album, their big boy, 1000 GECS, the next step in their musical journey. This is the first album of theirs I'd be introduced to, with of course their infamous hit, Money Machine. A lot of people were introduced to 100 GECS through Money Machine. Many fans and many critics. A lot of critics. Which really sucks because Money Machine isn't even the best song on the album, nor is it the worst. Not at all. Unlike their last album, which was very bipolar in its music, this album has a set sound throughout all its songs. What is that sound? Well, it's a sound I like to refer to as euphoric sparkle boner. What is that? I have zero damn clue, but I'm sure as hell going to try and explain what I mean by it. The album has the retro, fluttery, nightcore video vibe to it that just sits in your mind so pleasantly, which is where the euphoric bit comes from, alongside the sparkle. The boner bit is there because the beats in general just hit really hard. They pump well. Like my penis. Seriously, this album is full of some of 100 GECS' best work. 745 Sticky, Money Machine, Stupid Horse, Hand Crushed by a Mallet, all iconic songs of their own. Even some of the tracks I wasn't a huge fan of at first, like Get to You and However You Say This, are absolutely amazing. The songs are a bit too samey for my liking though, but even with that in mind, they're awesome. This is a solid album, but it isn't my favorite. I'm gonna put it in B tier. A really good companion piece to this album is the remix collection, 1000 GECS and the Tree of Clues, which I really love the name. I know that's probably a dumb point to bring up, but I don't know, it's just so cute and silly, and I like it. Now this might sound crazy, but I think this album is really good and in a way is better than its original counterpart. It fixes my big issue of the songs feeling a bit too samey. I might get some heat for this, but I'm putting it in A tier. I can't help it. Anything that has black dresses on it gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I love you, Ada Rook and Devi! I love you! Given how new the music duo is, it's really cool how good their current stuff is. A fresh new artist with fresh new stuff. It's always nice to see. Did you know that 100 GECS played in a Minecraft version of Coachella? I didn't for the longest time, and it's such a strange thing. It looked fun though. It looks like a total blast, and it's really nice to look back on it knowing that 100 GECS would someday play in the real thing. The real Coachella. I just find that so cool and it makes me smile. It's nice to see people succeed, especially people I like. Next collection of music on the list is the Snake Eyes EP. It's their shortest collection, sitting at only 3 tracks. Hey Big Man, Torture Me, and Runaway. These tracks are fucking awesome. Big Man is literally the intro to my channel. It just packs such a punch and is such a banger. I love it so much. Torture Me, which has fucking Skrillex in it, is a major throwback to their first EP. It has a super similar vibe, a lot of nightcore aspects. It's very good though. I really like it. God, it is so close to being my favorite. Runaway is by far the weakest track in the EP, and in all honesty, the weakest 100 GECS song, but it isn't bad. Not at all. It's a more emotional, softer song than the other two, more than most of 100 GECS work. It's pretty good, but nothing special. Snake Eyes is an overall good snack of an album, a great mini collection, one which has one of my favorite all-time 100 GECS songs. It has itself a nice little spot in B tier with 1000 GECS. Now we've made it to the final album, released as of now, 10,000 GECS. I won't lie, I didn't even know this album came out until I just randomly stumbled upon the most wanted person in the United States. I was literally in school like, oh shit, this rocks. I haven't heard this 100 GECS song before. I checked my phone, I was like, oh, which album is this? Is this the one where holy shit, they released a new album? Like, I was shocked. It kind of came out of nowhere for me, but it was a pleasant surprise to say the least. This is by far 100 GECS' biggest and best album they've ever made. It is full of banger after banger after banger, bop after bop. It's just so good. It has 10 tracks, the same as their last album. When it comes to describing the feel and sound of this album, it's a lot less hyperactive and indescribable as their previous work. I can say for certainty with no bit of thought that this is an album with a lot of rock and roll elements. This is going to sound really weird probably, but some of the tracks in this album reminds me of the AC/DC song Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, which is also one of my all-time favorite songs, and one of my all-time favorite JoJo stands. I know a shit ton of people are going to call me crazy and stupid for saying that, especially because they're very different, but that's just me. It's just what I think. It's just the plain truth in my eyes. The nightcore elements are also here, which of course the magical duo managed to make work as always. My favorite track has to be Doritos and Fritos, followed by Billy Knows Jamie, and then Frog on the Floor. I love that one. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of that one song. It's like, 4 little speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs, yum yum. The only track I dislike is $1 Million, but even then the track isn't that bad. It's an okay song. I can see why someone would like it, but it's just not for me. Overall, it's 100 GECS' best work. I give it a solid 10 out of 10. It's going in S tier, 100 GECS masterpiece so far. I can't wait to see what the next album is, if it can even compare. So to recap, 100 GECS is in D tier, 1000 GECS is in B tier, 100 GECS in the Tree of Clues is in A tier, Snake Eyes is in B tier, and 10,000 GECS is in S tier. That is every 100 GECS album ranked and reviewed. 100 GECS is one of my favorite music projects of all time, and I appreciate their work more than most. They introduced me to a whole new world of music and inspired me to go out and try it myself. It took a couple years and a few more inspirations, but I did it. And I think I owe them something for that. I love their music, and in case any of you guys want to give their stuff a shot, all of their work is on most major streaming platforms, like Spotify and Apple Music. I'd highly recommend giving it a shot. That's all I have to say really though. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, why not subscribe? I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of this year. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!